The latest economic data out of Europe came in worse than expected. Purchasing managers say they're buying even fewer goods and services. That's one reason stocks are lower around the world this morning. With us now from Frankfurt, the chief economist at Deutsche Bank, Thomas Meyer. Thomas, good to have you on the show, and thank you for joining us. Let's try to contrast what we see in Europe, the latest economic data, with your view on what European governments need to do. Is it really time to be talking about fiscal contraction? Is it really time to be talking about when the ECB is going to be exiting the stimulative measures that it's taken to help reflate the European economy when we see data like these?
I think what we need most here is confidence. Confidence in the future of EMU, of Economic and Monetary Union. Everything to improve that confidence, I think, will help growth. Everything going against it will hamper growth. In this context, as it may sound initially counterintuitive, I think in this context, fiscal austerity can help to build confidence. Also in this context, getting out of the business of keeping unviable banks afloat for an extended period of time, getting out of such business can help improve confidence. So it has to be done right. But I think we need to rebuild confidence here, and the standard measures that are often discussed, such as continuing to pour more liquidity into the system, continuing to run high fiscal deficits, may not help to restore that confidence.
Thomas, is raising interest rates a way to rebuild that confidence? We had Jens Weidemann, the Bundesbank president, saying that the ECB would welcome higher borrowing costs as a way of forcing governments not to backpedal. He said higher interest rates are also a spur toward reforms. Really?
I'm not sure exactly whether it was intended to say what you now summarize. I think the point that he was trying to make, and I think he has a point, at the root of all this is adjustment. After all, we are in a euro crisis because the countries were not fit for the euro. And now they need to be made fit for the euro. So at the core of all this, to regain confidence, you have to adjust. There's, of course, always a trade-off. If you help in adjustment, that is a good thing, but the help to adjustment can also lead to the neglect or the delay of the hard work. I mean, take the example of Italy and Spain. We are now only, since the end of last year, we are now really getting serious in creating the necessary economic flexibility for these countries to be viable within EMU.
Then, Thomas, do you think Italy and Spain can find their way out of this, or do you think Spain, for example, could be headed for another Greece situation?
No, I think both have a very good chance to restore that confidence because I think they are capable of adjusting. I would distinguish countries that have few capacity to adjust and not even the political will. Other countries may have the political will but not capable. But then you have countries which have now a political will and are capable of adjustment. I would consider Spain and Italy to be in that category. But you have to stay on the message. You have to be consistent. I think the Spaniards were communicated in a very unlucky way when the deficit were over, and they communicated in a very unlucky way their fiscal adjustment, delaying the budget until after the Catalonian elections, which they lost anyway. What you have to do is you have to stay on the message, you have to do what is needed to adjust, and then you can regain confidence. When you regain confidence, you regain access to funding. And then the pressure to get deficits down, be that external or internal, this pressure is no longer so extraordinary.
Thomas, does Germany need an attitude adjustment in terms of the way that it is handling the crisis and responding to the crisis? Really has been in the driver's seat from day one and has yet to feel a real economic cost of what's happening to the rest of Europe.
Well, I think we all have gone through a learning experience. If you are an economist and therefore an observer, you can perhaps reach conclusions faster than if you are in government and need to create majority. So we have all come through a learning experience. And of course, looking back, we should have done things faster. We should have done them more coherently and not so incoherently. And even now, I think the job is not finished. But we have come a long way towards doing the right thing. As I emphasize again, the job is not finished, but we have gone a long way towards doing the right thing. Germany has helped with not insubstantial amounts, the other countries, towards the adjustment. Germany itself is now also experiencing adjustment. When you look at the present wage round, our wage growth looks as if it were to double from what we have seen over the last few years. We have settlements that come in, I would say, around 3 to 4%. The metal workers are still outstanding. So that's about twice what we had in the past. That's what you actually probably want in that situation. We are seeing our real estate prices go up. And all this reflects the loose monetary policy stance that, for Germany, loose monetary policy stance that is part of the adjustment process. It has to be symmetrical, I would agree. The deficit country, yeah.
Yeah, I'm afraid we have to end it there. We do hope you'll join us again. Thomas Meyer, we've got, what is it, Thomas, about 5 weeks while you're still the chief economist of Deutsche Bank. We hope you'll be back on the Inside Track between now and then. Thomas Meyer going to dedicate more of his time to academia, continue to advise Deutsche Bank.